Let's remove the comfort lies. Most people watching this will never escape their financial situation. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They will close this video, feel a brief moment of awareness, and then return to the same mental patterns that quietly destroy their future. That's how it usually ends. Because the real enemy is not lack of money, it's familiarity. Your brain is addicted to what it already knows, even when what it knows is failure, stress, and limitation. That's why change feels uncomfortable, and staying stuck feels normal. Let me be brutally honest with you. If your internal state doesn't change, your income will not change. Not significantly, not permanently. You might get a small win here and there, but you will always fall back to your baseline. Your baseline is your brain frequency. And right now, for most people, that frequency is fear disguised as effort. They overthink. They hesitate. They delay. They consume information instead of transforming. And time passes anyway. Years go by faster than you expect. Opportunities close silently. Energy drops. Risk tolerance shrinks. This is how people wake up one day realizing they waited too long. Here's the truth no one wants to face. Money does not reward potential. Money rewards readiness. And readiness is neurological. You cannot think your way into a higher level of wealth with a brain tuned to survival mode. Survival brains protect. They don't expand. This is why most people sabotage opportunities when they finally appear. They feel uncomfortable with growth. They retreat back to what feels safe. Sound harsh? Good. It should. Because comfort is what keeps people average forever. Now listen carefully. The genius wave and the money wave are not motivation tools. They are pattern interruption systems. They disrupt the brain's default loops. They weaken old emotional reactions. They open access to states where perception sharpens and fear loses authority. And once that shift happens, there's no going back. You start seeing how predictable most people are, how reactive, how controlled by emotion, and you realize something disturbing. You were never competing with others. You were competing with your own conditioning. That conditioning was installed without your permission. School, family, society, media, none of them trained you for wealth. They trained you for compliance and survival. So ask yourself this, honestly. How long are you going to keep using a system that never produced the life you want? Another year? 5 more? Until it's too late to take risks? Because make no mistake, the cost of inaction is higher than the cost of change. People who hesitate don't stay neutral. They fall behind. While you think about it, others recalibrate. Others align. Others move ahead quietly. And they don't come back to pull you with them. This is the moment where most people fail. Not because they say no, but because they say later. Later is the most expensive word in the human language. If you feel resistance right now, that's not logic. That's the old pattern fighting for survival. And that's exactly how you know this works. The link below is not for everyone. It's for those willing to disrupt their internal system instead of decorating their problems. You don't need to understand it. You don't need to believe in it. Your brain responds regardless. Click the link. Listen consistently. Let the old frequency decay. Or don't. But understand this. Nothing changes by accident, and wealth never arrives for people who refuse to retune. The choice is already in front of you. Before you leave, notice something. You didn't stop watching by accident, and you haven't clicked away yet for a reason. Most people already would have. They feel uncomfortable when the truth gets too close. They need noise, distraction, another excuse. But you're still here. That means your brain is already questioning its own patterns. And once that starts, it doesn't stop. Because now, even if you close this video, the question stays with you. What if the reason nothing changed was never effort, intelligence, or luck? What if it was always frequency? That thought doesn't disappear. It follows you. You'll notice it later, when you hesitate, when you overthink, when you feel that familiar resistance again. That's your old programming trying to pull you back. And here's the part most people miss. The moment you become aware of the pattern, You are no longer innocent to it. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. So now there are only two paths. One is to close this video. Tell yourself you will come back later, and slowly sink back into the same mental rhythm you've always had. The other is to interrupt the loop permanently. That interruption is not logical. It's neurological. Sound doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for belief. It doesn't care about excuses. It just retunes the brain. And once the brain shifts, behavior follows. And once behavior shifts, results follow. That's why the link is below. Not as an offer, as an exit. But here's the catch. If you don't take it now, your mind will do what it always does. It will rationalize, delay, minimize what you felt in this moment. And that's exactly how the loop restarts. Because the next time you hear someone talk about money, frequency, or alignment, this feeling will come back again. And you'll remember this video. So before you decide, ask yourself, are you really choosing later? Or are you just repeating the same pattern again? You already know the answer. And that's why you're still listening.